Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the first of our community complete practices, which I've taken to calling Together We Shine. Our international meditation community is called Together We Rise, and Together We Shine feels very appropriate for this approach to practice, which will be invoking the power of tapas quite a lot. And tapas meaning the friction that naturally arises as a result of our intentional moving through of our own resistance to growth, evolution, change. So tapas is not always comfortable, but it's always rewarding, and it always brings us closer to who and what we truly are and the human that we were always meant to be. The result of tapas is another Sanskrit word that's one of my favorites, tejas, and tejas can be very simply translated as the radiant splendor of personality that draws all hearts. Radiant splendor. In other words, tapas makes us shine from the inside out. It helps us to tap into our own radiant splendor so that we can share the light that is uniquely ours with the rest of the world, powerfully, unapologetically, and in a way that is of genuine benefit to the rest of the world, in turn benefiting us as well. So anyhow, together we shine. Today's practice is called Tentatively New, and it's a great time for us to be contemplating what we may want to step into this year. But this practice is going to ask us to do more than simply contemplate. This practice and the accompanying essay that I have written in preparation for this practice are going to ask us to start to turn our contemplations into action. Who are we ready to actually be? How are we ready to align our actions with who we believe ourselves to be deep down? Yoga is, according to the Bhagavad Gita, a path of action, specifically selfless service to all of the rest of the beings that we share the world with. So I think we can all agree that the world is in need of some higher-minded, genuinely compassionate, selfless service. So let's start to tease that out of ourselves and figure out what we are prepared to offer for the betterment of other individual beings and the collective as a whole. Okay, so tentatively new, beginning at the beginning, sorting who we truly are from who the world has conditioned us to be, and figuring out how to step more powerfully into that and offer our service to the world. All in 75 minutes. We've got this. All right. We are going to start out oddly in Tadasana rather than seated or lying down on the mat. And to continue with the oddities, we're going to begin with a mantra from this standing position. But first things first, just find your Tadasana. Tadasana being mountain pose, a pose of strong, steady, effortless, neutral presence. Tadasana, mountain. A citizen of both the earth and the sky. Very deeply rooted, and yet always reaching higher. Take a moment to soften into this experience and let that softening be the source of power as we release tension and invite true power, Shakti, to come pouring in to fill those newly vacant spaces, both in the body and in the mind. Feel free to close the eyes. Tune into the breath as a full body experience. And we'll open the practice with a mantra from our tradition, which invokes all of the auspicious forces of nature to pay attention and to lend their benevolence and their wisdom and their power to the success of this endeavor to practice. It's the Parashakti invocation. We'll chant it 3 times, followed by Om. And if you don't know the Parashakti invocation, then join us with Om and really feel into the essence of the vibration of that sound. Ganesha Graha Nakshatra Yogni Rashi Rupanim Devim Mantramayim Navi Matrakam Pita Rupanim Ganesha Graha Nakshatra Yogni Rashi Rupanim Devim Mantramayim Navi Matrakam Pita Rupanim Ganesha Graha Nakshatra Yogni Rashi Rupanim Devim Mantramayim Navi Matrakam Pita Rupanim. Invest just another moment of your attention into feeling into the resonance, the vibration of that sound of Om and the silence that follows it. And then make your way to the top of the mat. We're going to stay on our feet. I'll adjust the sound so we have doggy sounds in the background. Go ahead and just reach the arms up, press down through the feet, interlace the fingers, press the palms up toward the ceiling, and indulge in a full-bodied stretch. Bring that into a lateral stretch, side to side, without too much structure at this point, just feeling into what is wanted and needed in the moment. Keeping the knees loose, give the hands a little bit of a shake. Start to swing the arms gently from the elbows. A big part of being able to step into something new is to systematically release what has become old. We're just going to shake some stagnant energy out of the body before we move into the asana. Swing from the shoulders. Let the arms cross one on top of the other, alternating each time. Next, we'll bend the elbows on exhale, making little fists, and on exhale, letting out the sound ha, 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 ha. Good, let that go as well. Step the feet a little bit wider apart, toes pointing open slightly, bend the knees, place the hands on the thighs. Take a moment here to use the arms to create a little bit more space and decompression in the spine, pulling the shoulder girdle in one direction, the pelvis dropping down in the other. Breathe into the space between each of the vertebrae. And then we'll move through what will initially feel like cow standing. But for those of you who know what I'm talking about, start to also employ very gentle engagement of Agnisara, drawing the belly up and in, lifting the pelvic floor and tucking the chin. Just a few more rounds, nice and easy. Inhaling to open. And exhaling to round the spine. Think about pulling the feet together, lifting the arches, lifting through the inner thighs, pelvic floor, navel to spine. Gently tuck the chin. 3 more rounds at your own pace. Some of our stagnant, sticky energy is a little bit more dense than something we're able to simply shake off. And for that, we need access to our internal fire, which is exactly what we're starting to stoke at the navel center. We'll just do a little today, but this will build week by week for the next several weeks, months, hopefully years. And go ahead and release that cow-cat Agnisara. And then just start to take the pelvis around in a few gentle circles here. Try to keep the neck and the jaw relaxed. And invite a little churning sensation in the space of the belly. So we're not holding tension there. Tension is moving through, stirring things up a little bit. When you're ready, switch directions. In a lot of this kind of work, less is very often more. So be subtle, use minimal effort, and no unnecessary tension. Go ahead and come back through to neutral, pause for a moment and just feel into it. Press down through the soles of the feet to rise once again. Let's bend the elbows, make loose fists with the palms facing up, relax the shoulders, and then a gentle twist, just rotating the torso from side to side. The heel of the foot will lift up off the ground as you rotate away from that foot, just so that we're not putting any unnecessary torque on the major joints, ankles, knees, pelvis in particular. Start to wind that down. Come back to stillness, come back to Tadasana, that mountain pose. And notice if things have already begun to shift, even slightly. Let the arms rotate so the palms are facing behind you. Feet are about hip distance, basically parallel to one another. On the next inhale, bend the knees, shift your weight a little further toward your heels as the arms sweep forward and up toward the ears. And on exhale, strengthen the legs, press down through the feet, rise back up to Tadasana. We'll move dynamically a few times like that. Inhale, bend the knees, sweep the arms forward to come up. Exhale, straighten the legs, bring the arms back down. Keep going. Inhale, and we bend the knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, and we rise to stand. 2 more. Stay in Tadasana. Root down through the right foot. Keep lifting through the crown of the head and draw your left thigh up towards your belly. Just standing here in a variation of Vrikshasana tree pose. So another friend in nature that is both deeply rooted and yet reaching upward toward the sky. Trees are an embodiment of wisdom gleaned from years and years of life. Decades, in some cases, centuries. Can we tap into a little bit of that wisdom? Can we follow their example of shedding leaves, even needles, for the evergreen friends among us, in the interest of creating space for the new to arrive when the time comes? Just release the leg. Again, claim Tadasana. Root down through the left foot and lift the right leg. Maintain calm, smooth, steady breath. And notice the influence that that calming breath has on the mind. Similarly, the effect that a calm mind has on the body when it's attempting to stand tall and steady in a precarious position. And again, release and reclaim Tadasana. We'll move into some sun salutations. I'm going to shed my socks. Surya Namaskara A first, and then we'll move into B. On inhale, sweep the arms up alongside the ears. Feel a soft strength through the entire body. And on exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway, creating a little extra extension through the spine. And on exhale, soften the knees, step back to plank. Press into the toes, inhale to hinge forward, bringing the shoulders toward the fingertips. Exhale, lower to the belly. Press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Draw the sternum and collarbones forward. Exhale, release to the ground. Inhale, lift to the hands and the knees. Exhale to child's pose. Inhale back to the hands and the knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Enjoy an extra breath in your down dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze toward the hands. Exhale, step up to the top of the mat. Inhale again to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach for the sky. Exhale, Tadasana. Enjoy a breath here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step to plank. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, down dog. Enjoy an extra breath here. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, look forward. Exhale, step to the top of it. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach for the sky. Exhale, Tadasana. Another breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plank. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, down dog. Another breath. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze toward the hands. And exhale, step to the top of it. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, Tadasana. Enjoy a breath. Once more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plank. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, down dog. Let's linger in down dog for an extra breath or two. If you want, you can pedal the feet. And then we'll soften back into a little stillness before moving on. Maximize the extension in the spine, and then engage the muscles in the arms and the legs that help to support that extension. Then breathe about 4 more times. Inhale to lift the heels, soften the knees, gaze toward the hands. And exhale, step to the top of it. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise, reach for the sky. Exhale, arms by your sides, Tadasana. Another breath. With the next inhale, find Utkatasana again, chair pose. On the exhale, linger here. Think about spreading the toes. Feet are more or less parallel, but the heels are trying to push out away from the center of the mat. That'll create a little bit of internal rotation through the thigh bone, through the femur, helping to ensure that the thighs stay parallel. The weight is more in the heels and in the balls of the feet, putting a little bit more emphasis of strength into the belly and into the glutes. Stay here. Inhale, reach the wrists a little further away from the pelvis. Exhale, sweep the arms down and back. Give the triceps a little squeeze as well as the muscles in the upper back. Inhale, sweep the arms forward. And exhale again, draw them down and back. Inhale, sweep the arms forward. This time on exhale, bring the palms together in front of the heart. Push the palms together. Use that to create a little extra strength and breadth through the back and the front of the heart. Root down through the right foot and inhale. Hug your left thigh up and in, keeping the foot flexed. Exhale, kick the heel forward. Inhale, bend the knee, draw the thigh up and in. Exhale, hinge forward and press the heel straight back. A variation of warrior 3. Inhale, rebend both knees, Come back toward chair, hugging the left thigh up and in. Exhale, kick the heel forward. Inhale, draw it up and in. Exhale, back to warrior three. Pause at warrior three for just a breath. On the next inhale, bend your right knee, keep lifting your left heel up and back. And on exhale, set it down for warrior one. Inhale, sweep the arms forward to come up. Exhale, straighten the front leg and bring the arms down. Let's move dynamically 3 more times. Inhale, bend the knee, arms up. Exhale, straighten the leg, arms down. 2 more. With the next inhale, come back into your warrior. Exhale, soften here for just a moment. Enjoy another breath. At the bottom of the exhale, release, framing the front foot. Inhale and sweep your right leg up and back behind you. Keep pressing through the heel. And on exhale, stay here a moment and try to steady yourself. Keep lifting and lengthening, as though pressing through the heel and pushing through the hands helps to create even more length, extension, space in the spine. One more inhale here. On exhale, hinge forward and lower to the ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Linger in child's pose for 2 or 3 more breaths. Inhale back to the hands and the knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, return to downward facing dog. Inhale, float the left leg up and back. Exhale and simply lunge the left foot through. Find warrior one. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, straighten the leg, arms down. Again, moving dynamically 3 times. The next time you find yourself in your warrior, stay for a moment. From here, bring the hands together at the heart. Roll to the ball of the back foot and start to bring your weight onto your left foot. On an inhale, float the right leg up and back. One more breath in when you're ready. And on exhale, bend both knees and hug the right thigh in toward the low belly. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, kick the heel forward. Inhale, draw the thigh up and in. Exhale, press the heel back. Inhale, draw the thigh up and in. Exhale, press the heel forward. Inhale, draw the thigh up and in. Exhale, set the foot down for chair. Sweep the arms back. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale all the way to plank. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, lower half or all the way. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, make your way to downward facing dog. There is no hurry. Breathe, take your time, move through as many postures as necessary. Inhale, lift the heels, soften the knees, look forward. Exhale, see if you can walk heel toe to the top of the mat. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, arms by your sides. Breathe. Inhale, back to your chair. Exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale, draw the right thigh up and in. Exhale, kick the heel forward. Inhale, draw it up and in. Exhale, warrior three. Inhale, bend the left knee, reach the right heel back. Exhale, set the foot down, find warrior one. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, straighten the leg, and as you do, hinge forward. Inhale, rebend the left knee, back to your warrior. Exhale, straighten the leg, hinge forward. If both arms alongside the ears feels like too much, try both hands on the hips, or one hand on the hip and one arm alongside the ears. Inhale to rise up. Exhale to fold forward, Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. One more time. Inhale, bend the knee and rise. Exhale, straighten the leg and fold. If possible, frame the front foot either with your hands on the floor or on blocks. Press into both feet evenly. Find a little internal rotation through the back leg especially. Inhale, draw the collarbones forward, create a little bit more extension in the spine. Exhale, fold and linger. Smooth, steady breath. About 4 rounds. Press down through both hands, roll to the ball of the back foot, and inhale, sweep the left leg up and back behind you, pressing through the heel. Exhale, stay. Keep reaching through the heel and pushing through the hands to create spinal extension. Breathe into it. On the next exhale, hinge forward, bend the elbows, come all the way down to the ground. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose, stay and breathe. Inhale, return to the hands and knees, tuck the toes. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, float the right leg up and back. Exhale, lunge the foot through. Find warrior one again. Inhale, rise for your warrior. Exhale, straighten the leg, hinge forward and fold. Again, arm variations, hands can stay on the hips or one hand on the hip and one arm alongside the ear. Bend the right knee. Inhale, rise back to warrior. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knee. Root down through the right heel as you rise up. Exhale, fold. Once more. In that fold, frame the front foot in a way that is sustainable. Press down through both feet evenly. Activate your left inner thigh even more. On an inhale, try to draw the collarbones and the crown of the head a bit further forward. And on an exhale, release into a fold. Stay with the fold for about 4 breaths. Inhale, rise. Exhale, bring the hands to prayer. Hinge forward for warrior 3. On the next inhale, draw the left thigh in. Exhale, press the heel forward. Inhale, hug the thigh up and in. Exhale, kick the heel back. Inhale, draw the thigh up and in, coming into that modified chairs pose. Exhale, kick the heel forward, last time. Inhale, lift the knee. Exhale, sink into chair, sweep the arms back. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach up. Exhale, keep the spine long, bring the arms behind the back. Press the palms in if possible, fingertips pointing down. Try to wrap the triceps back. Use the hands to stabilize the sacrum. Internal rotation of the thighs. Tilt the sits bones a little further toward the arches of the feet. Draw the belly in. Protecting the back of the neck. Begin to lift the sternum, collarbones, and chin. 3 breaths. On the next inhale, lift tall. And on exhale, reclaim Tadasana. How does neutral feel now? Inhale, sweep the arms forward. Exhale, soften the knees as you melt into a forward fold this time. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to step back to plank. Lower the knees. Inhale to cow, drawing the collarbones forward, lifting crown and tail. Exhale to cat. Back and forth a few more times. On cue, Sawyer has arrived. Back to a neutral spine. And from here, start to take the pelvis around in some small circles. Loosening any knots that might be keeping us bound physically, energetically, mentally and emotionally, maybe even karmic. Switch directions. Release those rotations, come back to neutral. We'll start to move into Chakravakasana. Inhaling on the hands and knees. And on exhale, keeping the thighs together if possible. Drawing back toward child's pose, but with bent elbows, lowering the forearms and the forehead to the mat. Inhale, rise back up to the hands and the knees. And exhale again, draw back. Bending the elbows, scooping the belly in, lowering the forearms and forehead. Two more times, inhaling to gently rise up. And exhaling to conscientiously drop back. And the next time you find yourself in that child pose, stay for a few breaths, curling in on yourself. Walk the hands back toward the knees, and then press yourself up to a seated position. Virasana, if that's okay in your knees. Otherwise, any seated posture. Sukhasana or any other cross-legged seat, or Dandasana with the legs out in front of you. In Virasana, either sit on top of or in between the heels. And again, find extension, elongation in the spine. Here, stack the palms on the sacrum, the lower back. Relax the shoulders. On inhale, rise up onto the shins. Sweep the arms forward to come up alongside the ears. On exhale, swing the arms behind the back again. Start to lower the pelvis, but hinge at the hips. And again, fold in on yourself, forehead coming to the ground. Inhale, rise back up, lifting to the shins, reaching for the sky. Exhale, squeeze the thighs together as you sweep the arms back, hinge at the hips, and fold. Two more times. Once again, stay in that curled up position with the forehead reaching for the ground. Breathe. Using the hands for support, once again, find Virasana or a seat of your choosing. When you're ready, let's take a seat, bring the legs out in front of you. Set yourself up for Janu Shirshasana, right leg straight, left knee bent for now. Inhale to find a little bit more lift in the spine. And on exhale, begin to fold forward out over the extended leg. And then a very easy dynamic engagement here. Inhaling to lift just a little bit more, lengthening just a little bit more. And exhale to soften. Continue with that pulsation, slow and methodical. And for the next few breaths, or several, just melt here. Try to keep the back of the neck long, chin very subtly, drawing closer to the chest, just to trigger an internalization of your consciousness, quieting the mind a bit more so you can become more clearly aware of its contents. Using the hands for support, on the next inhale, gently press yourself back up. And on the exhale, resting the hands on the knees, soften the shoulders, lengthen the spine. Either soften the gaze or close the eyes and just breathe. Switch to the other side. Again, moving dynamically with these gentle pulsations. Inhaling to find a little bit more length and space. Exhaling to fold forward. And now just melt. One more breath. On the next inhale, gently rise. Exhale again, rest the hands on the knees. Drop the shoulders, soften the eyes, and breathe. Coming into a symmetrical forward fold now. Extend both legs out in front. Inhale to get a little bit taller. And exhale to fold. Inhale, find a little bit more lift, a little more length. Exhale, fold. Two more subtle pulsations, and then again, just melt. And once again, check the length at the back of the neck. Try not to look forward. Instead, look down. Chin very gently drawing in the direction of the chest. Turn the thoughts, the senses inward. And with the next inhale, rise one last time. Exhale, find Dandasana. Drop the shoulders, lengthen the spine, soften the eyes, and breathe. From here, let's bend the knees, scooch forward, prepare to lie down. On the next inhale, find a bit more extension one last time. And on exhale, roll yourself down until you're lying in a supine position. Let's keep the knees bent and the feet flat on the ground for a moment. Take the opportunity to reacclimate to a very different relationship with gravity, a very different relationship with the spine. Preparing to move through dynamic bridge now. Draw the shoulder blades a little further down the back. palms facing the ground. Press down through both feet, especially the heels. And inhale, press the pelvis up toward the sky as the arms come alongside the ears. And on exhale, roll back down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. 2 more times. Again, rest with the sacrum flat on the mat. Maybe roll the thighs internally so the knees come to rest against one another and just be. Either windshield wiper the knees from side to side to release the spine a bit more, or give yourself whichever supine spinal twist you prefer. Just bear in mind that we haven't done much twisting, so don't go for anything too deep. Prepare to move to the other side with your twist. And then start to move back to neutral. Draw the thighs in toward the belly. Rest the hands on the knees or the shins. Gently rock the knees away from the belly and back in toward you, just to loosen up a bit more through the sacrum, letting go of any tension that may have crept in. On an energetic level, this movement also helps to release, again, anything stuck or stagnant, anything that has grown old, that you have outgrown. And it helps to release the waste product down and out, physically perhaps, but definitely energetically. And anything that you may have gleaned from those experiences from the past, any wisdom, any insight, this movement helps to shift that wisdom up toward the belly, the heart, the throat, and the head. When you've had enough, find stillness in Apanasana for a breath or two. And transition to Shavasana, stretching out into your comfortable, fully supine position. Wiggle, fidget, adjust for the next few breaths. And then resolve to settle into a voluntary stillness. Bring awareness to the space of the belly and experience the coming of and going of the breath here. Is it possible to sense the presence, the movement of the breath in the area of the pelvis? Can you experience the presence and movement of the breath in and around the heart space? Experience the breath in the collarbone, again at the heart, in the belly, pelvis, collarbones, One last time, a breath in the heart. In the belly. Pelvis. Collarbones. Two or three full-bodied breaths from the pelvis all the way up to the collarbones. And back down again. Release shaping the breath or the experience of the breath in any way, and just rest. Bring attention back to the breath, but invite it to remain effortless. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes a bit. When you're ready, bend the knees, roll to one side, curl into a fetal position, and enjoy a few more breaths here. rise to a comfortable seat. Become established in steadiness and ease. And once again, experience the presence of the breath in the space of the belly. And in the opening of the nostrils. Experience the breath and its energetic component at Agya Chakra, the center point of the space which the head occupies. Inward of the eyes, inward of the ears, directly below the fontanelle, directly above the heart. Breathe into this space. With the next inhale, ascend toward the fontanelle, the crown of the head, Sahasrara Chakra. And with exhale, simply descend back down to Agya Chakra. Continue with a few more of these oscillations. A little application of self-effort to lift awareness to the crown. A loosening of that effort as awareness descends back down. Lift awareness once more to the crown center. Remain there, holding awareness quite delicately, just to the interior side of the fontanelle. And holding awareness here, feel into the presence of that which is immortal, ever fresh in that immortality, eternal, yet eternally new. crystal clear consciousness, which purifies everything it touches. Like warm honey dripping. With the next few exhales, invite this ever fresh, eternally new quality of consciousness to descend toward the center of the chest, the space known as the spiritual heart center. With inhale, gliding back up toward the crown, and with exhale, drawing that ever fresh liquid honey down. One more oscillation, and then remain centrally oriented at the heart. With awareness at the heart, there may continue to be a sense of pulsation, almost a humming or a throbbing of presence. Simply be with what is. Maintaining awareness at the heart for just a moment longer. Internally repeat the mantra. Asato ma sad gamaya. Asato ma sad gamaya. Asato ma sad gamaya. Lead me from the unreal to the real. With the next inhale, awareness rises again to Sahasrara Chakra, the crown center. And with exhale, passes back down through Agya Chakra, out through the nostrils, reconnecting you to the here and now. Inhale through the nostrils back to Agya Chakra. And back and forth a few times. Hands together at the heart center, bow the head. Take a moment to acknowledge your inner teacher, inner knower, inner guide. Rub the palms together when you're ready. Place the palms over the eyes for another breath or two. Let the eyes blink open and come back to the world. The one simple reflection question for you to sit with, to contemplate, perhaps to journal. When it comes to the mind, there are two types of attributes. Innate, that which you were born with and born to have and born to use. And acquired, that which you have adopted voluntarily or involuntary through conditioning from the external world. Innate attributes and acquired. How can you tell the difference? How can you discern the real from the unreal?